Hello, everybody. Firstly, I'd love to thank Catherine Eales for going first with these things, and what a wonderful job she did. So moving. I so appreciate that, and I agree it brings a different and richer, more personal way of engaging with this group. I've done this as a YouTube video this time because I don't understand Facebook Live yet, and I'll work on that. So I wanted to share really stuff around two themes that are very much with me at the moment. The first one is about living in the now, living in the present moment. And it's sometimes said that, you know, if you want to experience guilt, regret, or shame, go visit the past. And if you want to experience anxiety, grief, despair, or perhaps hopium, go visit the future. And what I've discovered is that there's, and I'm not the first person to say this, but there is almost zero suffering in the present. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't suffer or that any feeling is wrong or bad. It's just been a fascinating journey for me of discovering that. I guess it's what spiritual teachers have been pointing to for centuries. But there is a distinction that I've noticed. I've seen that there's a way of doing this, of staying in the present moment, which feels like numbing. It feels like pain avoidance, like sticking my fingers in my ears. It doesn't feel good. And as I've often said, I think the energy of avoiding painful feelings is often much worse than just feeling them. But there's another kind of living in the present moment that feels, I want to use the word sacred. It's rich and meaningful. It doesn't feel like wasting time or just satisfying my own selfish needs and desires. At those times, I feel connected with truth and wisdom and the whole of life. And it feels like surrendering to life, but not in a despairing way, in a way that, you know, stands tall and accepts reality as it is. And how fucking magnificent it all is. Wow. And that leads me to my second theme, which is hope. And I've spoken a fair bit about hope in the last 18 months or so, and often on our group calls. And I think I probably completely changed my view about it because I've always seen myself as the ultimate optimist, positive thinker my whole life. I spent a long time teaching that stuff. In fact, I've often been accused of being a Pollyanna or being naively optimistic. But since waking up to our predicament, I've seen that, as Debbie Ozarko says, that hope can be denial in drag, or at least when it's hope for a materially better future, or where it's hope that somebody will come and sort it all out and save us, or where it's hope that there'll be some last-minute techno fix. Hope is such an unchallenged thing in our society, isn't it? Especially for those of us who have lived in the personal development, human potential worlds, as I have, and I know many of you have. You have to have hope, or else there's despair. What's the point? Nope, that's not been my experience. Now I think back, I remember Jim Carrey in his commencement speech, which I often used to show on workshops. He said that forget hope. Hope is a beggar, and to choose faith instead. Faith in our capacity, our innate well-being, regardless of circumstances. The trouble with hope, I've found, is that it can be a kind of bargaining, and it's often outcome dependent. And when things don't work out the way we prefer them to work out, then we feel hopeless. And I've seen that the flip side of hope is fear. Sometimes I think that the reason I might find all this easier to surrender to is because I'm quite old now, compared to some of you in this group, probably most of you. 63 next birthday. And being in my twilight years, I don't have that long left anyway. And I'm so grateful for the incredible life I've lived so far. Or sometimes I think maybe it's because I never had children of my own. So I don't have to face the prospect of them suffering or dying early. Perhaps. But I don't think that's really true. I've never put that much store in family as the great overriding thing, seemingly compared to most people I talk to. People that I happen to be related to by blood. My grief, when I feel it, when I have felt it, is as much about somebody in Africa or India or Alaska that I've never met, as it is for my niece, my nephew, my great niece, my great nephew, or my 3-year-old grandson. Apparently Mother Teresa once said, the trouble with humanity is that we've drawn our family circle too close or too tight. We include some people and exclude others. And I'm certainly not comparing myself with Mother Teresa, but I wholeheartedly agree with her on that. See, everything that's made my life meaningful and continues to do so is still here. And although there will be challenges, if I'm still lucky enough to be alive, those important things will still be here post-collapse. Love, connection, meaning, purpose, joy, gratitude, learning, creativity, resilience, peace of mind. And as Catherine said in her Facebook Live last week, to be able to tell a story of your life that you're proud to tell. I love that. I'm reminded of the George Bernard Shaw quote. This is the true joy of life, the being used for a purpose recognized as a mighty one, the being a force of nature, instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. And I notice I've been firing lots of my clients recently, in a loving way. Those clients who aren't awake to this predicament and or don't want to be. I still love them and I know it's innocent. But sometimes I feel like I'm spending just too much of my time listening to clients who sound a bit to me like feverish, selfish little clods of ailments and grievances. You know, the sort of thing, I've had a huge row with my sister and it's made me depressed. Or tell me how I can grow my business so I can make more money. That kind of thing. It's very human, but it's all me, 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 rather than we. And I don't really want to do that anymore. I'd rather spend my time supporting people who are in the game that I now see as the most important one. So once again, I find myself with more space opening up. And I feel something rumbling towards me from the hills. I don't know what it is yet, but watch this space. I'm going to post along with this video a very, very long essay by Catherine Ingrams that some of you may already have read. It's called Facing Extinction. I found it extremely helpful. And it speaks to these themes that I've been sharing about, and many, many more. So living in the present moment and moving beyond hope, at least the way we normally use the word. And I wanted to just finish with something Jen Bendell said once to me, which really resonated. And it feels especially good when I'm in that second type of, that second way of living in the present moment. He said, every moment, every interaction can be imbued with three things. The first of them is wow, just wow. You know, if we really connected with how magnificent this whole thing is, you know, I often think we'd just be leaping around the whole time going, fucking hell, this is amazing. Just being alive, being in life. The second thing is thank you. Every moment, every interaction. And I know we're not always going to do that, but and the third thing is, and possibly goodbye. So wow, thank you, and possibly goodbye. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of this group. It's been very special. It is very special. You're amongst the few people that I can share this sort of thing with and have these kind of conversations with. So I love you and I appreciate you. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.